Welcome back to Start with Android, myself Ritu. So this video is in continuation with the previous video of Android activity. If you guys haven't seen yet the previous video, then please visit the link from the description box below. As you know, activity is a screen. It has multiple states when user navigates throughout the app. There are four basic states of an activity. One is an active state, one is a pause state, stopped state, and destroyed state. So this is the diagram which you are seeing on the screen. This is called the activity life cycle diagram. So why we need to know that what activity life cycle is, why we want to manage the states of the activity. So let's take an example. When a user is using a game application and switches to another app, suppose he receives a call at that time, and after disconnecting from the call, the app user can still come back to the game and continue from where it has stopped. So this is done and managed by the activity state. If user returns to that activity, the activity resumes from where the user was left off. So let's take another example. If you are changing the screen orientation in between while you are watching a video, at that time also activity is being recreated. But we don't want this to start the video from the starting point. Instead, we want the video to continue from the point where it was before changing the orientation. So all these things are managed by the activity life cycle. So these states are managed by the activity callback methods. Here these are the callback methods: on create, on start, on resume, on pause, on stop, and on destroy. These are the callback methods. So let's start with on create, which is fired when the system first creates the activity. So it's activity creation. So all the basic startup logic like setting up the view are kept inside this on create callback method. So it is not that only on create is called, but sequentially there are many other methods being called in the background. As soon as the on create execution is completed, on start and on resume methods are called. These two methods. So what is the use of onStart? OnStart makes the activity visible to the user as the app prepares for the activity to enter the foreground and become interactive. At that moment, this method is being called in the background. Once the onStart is finished, onResume is called. This is the state when the app starts interacting with the user, or user can interact with the app. So this is the active state, running state, we can say. On pause and on stop. When any interruption occurs at that time, on pause is first invoked. Like it is a state where user interaction is not possible, but it is still visible. For example, you are about to switch between the apps and it is in multi-window. Immediately after this, on stop is being called. Now the UI is not visible. If user is going from one screen to another screen, like from screen A to screen B, at that time the state of first screen will be on pause to on stop, as it is no longer visible, but it is still below the stack of second screen. So now we will go back by pressing the back button to screen A. At that time, on restart for screen A will be called. This method will only be called if on stop is called for the first activity or screen. So on destroy, it is called when the activity is completely destroyed from the memory. If user pressed the back navigation button off from the device, then the activity will be destroyed completely. completing the life cycle of on, pause, on, stop, and then on, destroy will be called. The activity is completely shut down. So now we will see an example of how and when these methods are called by creating two screens and navigating from one screen to another, just to understand the callbacks and states of these two screens. So now we will see an example of how and when these methods are called by creating two screens and navigating from one screen to another screen, just to understand the callbacks and the states of two screens. So here I have already created a demo app having two screens. One is the main activity and the other one is the second activity. So in the main activity I have added a button and a function, this function, to navigate to second screen. Now we will add the callback methods. See, one of the callback method is already there, that is the on create. So how many more are there? On create, on resume, on start, on pause, on stop, on restart, on destroy. On create is already added. So now we will implement and overwrite other methods also. So on resume, on start, on pause, on stop, on restart, on destroy. Okay, now we will put a log statement in all these callback methods just to check which method is called when. So I'm putting one log statement here in the on create, log.d. The first argument is the tag. You can place any tag over here, main activity screen, and the second argument is the message on create. Just copy this, just change the message on resume. So now I have added the log. Now we will try to run this app in the emulator. Now copy this log to search in the logcat. So now you can see on create is the first method being called, and then along with it on start and then on resume. I'm pressing the home button. You can see on pause and on stop is been called. Now I'm going again to the app. You can see on restart, on start, and on resume is been called. Now I'm pressing the back button from this screen. You can see on pause, on stop, and on destroy is called. Now I'm clearing the log. Again I'm trying to open the app. So after being destroyed, the on create, on start and on resume is again called. So this is the activity life cycle and its different states. Now I'm trying to navigate from one screen to other, that is my main activity, to the second activity. Just clearing the log. See, on pause is called and on stop is called. Again I'm navigating back to the main activity. So after on stop, on restart, on start and on resume is called. So these were the callback methods of activity life cycle. So thanks for watching. I hope you like the video. Then please do subscribe to our channel for more such videos.